Hey guys, I want to give you maybe 3 different ways you can do poses with dance. So these particular poses are, I'm going to call them moving poses, but there's a few different ways we can look at moving poses. So for this, I might take my shoes off so I can show you. The floor is a little bit sticky at the moment. So first is traveling poses. So traveling just refers to like moving around in space. So firstly, you've got to figure out how can you travel. However you want to travel is up to you, whether it's a glide, whether it's like just walking around, whether it's like a moonwalk, like an airwalk kind of thing, whether you want to do something like this, and then just like kind of like slide your leg over. So this is going to be the idea of traveling poses for number 1. Number 2 is going to be grooving, like a grooving pose where you hold a pose and then you kind of like be grooving in that one position without moving too much. So I will give you demonstrations to all of these, but for now we'll start with number 1, traveling poses. So just like pick any pose like this, for example, right? And then we just start traveling in that pose. Boom. So you could be like, boom, and then start moving over. You could do something like that, right? Or another way you see this done is in your robot, where you might come down like this, and then use the Egyptian twist, like that. So we can use like Egyptian twist. We can just use the regular pivots of the feet. If you want, you could even just like try and glide with it. So, and just make sure you try and like hold that pose still and show the traveling. So another cool way is you see it in your robot, boom, sliding. So this is what I call traveling poses. You don't have to do it in robot, it just looks very robotic because part of your body is very static. So whatever pose you do is going to determine kind of like how it looks. So I could be like, hold a position like this, and then start just like traveling over, right? What other poses can we do? Something like this, and then just, or like, boom, dun, 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 dun. Another way you can do it is rather than going like in and out like this, 2 feet at the same time like this. So we can do something like that with our feet. So like, let's find a funny pose. Like maybe like a tuck. Okay, so that's pretty cool how you can do it like that. Maybe like a prayer. And then actually no, we won't do the prayer tuck. We'll do maybe like a zombie or something, right? A zombie pose. And then we just start like doing like a little circle glide or something. So that's a few examples for number 1. Number 2 is grooving in a pose. I like to call this groove stops because it's kind of like a dime stop, but you're grooving with it instead. I just kind of got this idea from Future, something I was learning on Funk in Focus, so all credit to him. If you want to learn from him, I do recommend going to him. So this is kind of like how I interpret it anyway. So I would just like pick a pose, and then it's like, you're just grooving. So whether it's like rolling your shoulders in one spot, boom, ta, ta, ta. So find any part of your body that you can keep a groove with, like ta, ta, with the shoulders, right? And just kind of like shrink that. So pick a pose, boom, ta, but that's more like number 3. So you try not to move too much. Just kind of like isolate one body part, raise the shoulders, boom, ta, ta, or like roll your shoulders, or boom, ta, or like maybe like your hips. dips, like, oh no, chest, we'll do chest roll. So, actually, here, boom. So, shoulders, head, chest, they look pretty cool. So I'm still working on this kind of concept to see what other kind of stuff I can do from there, but there's a lot more you can do. So I do recommend learning from Funk in Focus. There's a nice video on there if you want to watch that. I'm going to go rewatch that again after this. So part 3 is fixed pose, a fixed point pose. I got this from Slim Boogie. I was just like watching his video on ill skills, and you know, I don't want to teach what other people are teaching, like because I feel like if you want to learn something, you should go to them for it. So I always like to give my interpretation of how I would do it a little bit differently, or kind of like my own spin on that. So the way I kind of interpret it anyway is like you just pick a pose like this, or whatever pose it is, and then we're just going to be like moving the rest of our body around that pose, right? Right, so firstly, chest, leaning, we can either lean to the side, lean back, or we'll do something like this, where we could come out, boom, 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 boom. Maybe shift our body. Okay, so any body part can be moving, whether it's the shoulders, the chest. We can even like do stuff like I'll show you a different pose so I can show you. We can like turn the head and stuff. So if I'm here, boom, this is the pose. We can really like play around with this kind of concept, right? So you just figure out what you can do with the legs and all this kind of stuff as well, right? So another one of these from moving poses or grooving poses, sorry. So number 2 was if you want to get into a position like this, we can also like groove the feet, right? So we can go boom boom ka. We do like 1 2 3, or boom boom ta. 1 2 boom ta ta. Boom boom. So that's number 2, like a boom boom pa, boom boom pa, boom ta, boom ta, ta, ta. So that's more grooving poses. So we go back to number 3 again, fixed point poses. So back to this position here. So if our arms are fixed, they stay where they are the whole time, unless you want to move it around and go to a different pose, right? And you can do that. You go from pose to pose to pose. We can do something like this, and then we can like use our shoulder to like activate another body part. So if I'm like boom, boom, shoo, and then you can like do shoulder rolls. So I'm rolling my shoulder, boom, as the foot comes in and out, right? Like that. And same thing, our head can kind of be like controlling the rest of our body too. So pick a pose like this. So that's kind of stuff you can do, right? Is when you have a fixed point, you can really move your whole entire body around, or you can have a little bit more isolated. but we're just pretty much like keeping this pose where it is. So out of all three of these poses, you get a lot of options here as well, because it's like the rest of your body is still pretty much free, right? It's just like only that one part of your body is fixed. Now, if you want, you could still take this fixed point idea and you could keep your body still and just move your arms this time. So now we have a pose, and now only this pose is moving, right? So this pose never stays, it just like moves around in space as well, like. So this is also a fixed point pose. Boom. We could also be like, right? Maybe like our legs or something are going to be doing the same kind of thing. Boom. And then you want to get into like traveling pose. Boom. Right? So we could do stuff like that. And that also gives you so many more options, because now you have a position like, let's say this is a pose. And now we want to do the other way of fixed point. So the rest of our body moves around this one pose, right? Or have a pose like this, boom. And then another version is like this, boom. So fixed point poses, grooving poses, and traveling poses. So give those a try. Just pick like a nice boom, ta, and then just like see how you can travel with it, and then switch it up. How can you travel in a pose? Like, find a funny way to travel that just looks funny. Another thing you can do is you can hold this one pose and you can just like play around with the angles a little bit. So this is also like, it's not quite fixed point pose, but it's still holding that pose. And now we're just gonna like move this pose around a little bit. So this is more like I was telling you how the rest of our body can move around the pose. We can also kind of do that as long as our arms are here. We can still move our body around and just like change the position of the pose and all that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my arms aren't actually moving, just my body's moving, and it gives the illusion that the pose is changing, right? Boom. So that's also another idea that you can play around with as well. Hope that helps, guys. Peace out. And yeah, shout out to Slim Boogie and Future. Amazing teachers. Please do learn from them. Like, you're missing out if you don't learn from them, because I learn so much, honestly, guys, and I want to give full credit to those guys for inspiring me, and I hope they inspire you too. Peace.